So we will review the following areas of Part 5: menus and standardized recipes, HACCP process information, and TPHC procedures. It is critical that you work with your caterer, food service management company, or other food vendor to make sure that standardized recipes are written and contain the required food safety information. This information includes HACCP process information, as well as critical control points and critical limits. Part 5, the file for Part 5 gives a lot more information about standardized recipes, HACCP processes, critical control points, and critical limits, and is a great reference. The menu summary form is optional if all recipes are standardized and report the HACCP process. This section should also contain copies of each month or cycle menus and time as a public health control or TPHC procedures if they are applicable. Please note that we moved information on the different TCS food components to Part 1, as I mentioned earlier in this webinar. We've already mentioned HACCP process several times. So what is a HACCP process? USDA HACCP plan guidance is based on a process approach to minimizing and preventing food safety hazards. This is the basis for our HACCP plan templates for school nutrition programs. Menu items are divided into categories based on the type of HACCP process they follow, which is determined by the number of times a menu item passes through the temperature danger zone of 41 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit before it is served. USDA defines 3 different HACCP process categories, and we have included a 4th category for foods that are non-TCS and therefore don't need temperature control for safety. The 3 categories are TCS no cook, Category 1, TCS same-day service, Category 2, and TCS complex food preparation, which is Category 3. The HACCP process category is one of the pieces of information that should be on your standardized recipes. Information is provided in Part 5 of the HACCP plan template to help you determine the correct HACCP process for the menu summary and the recipe. Now I want to talk more about time as a public health control procedures, which we've mentioned already in this webinar. Time as a public health control, which we call TPHC, those foods are menu items using time without temperature control as the public health control before cooking or for ready-to-eat TCS foods displayed or held for sale or service. TPHC procedures are especially effective for foods served in innovative or alternative service areas such as classrooms, hallways, buses, or field trips. They are also useful for fast-moving items where temperature control may be hard to maintain. This includes things like chicken nuggets or tenders, burgers, sandwiches, fries, and packaged salads, among other items. When using TPHC, the food should be cooked or prepared and then served, and ready-to-eat food served at any temperature, or the food must be discarded within 4 hours from the point in time when the food is removed from temperature control. All menu items subject to TPHC must be handled in accordance with a written procedure that complies with safe food handling requirements in the food code. We also require them as part of our Transported Meals HACCP plan template. TPHC procedures do not have to be pre-approved, but we recommend involving your school nutrition consultant if you have any questions. It will take a team approach to develop these procedures that may include you, any other SFA staff, your caterer or vendor, and your contracted registered dietitian if you have one. And I meant to mention earlier, the registered dietitian would also be helpful in writing and developing your standardized recipes. It is critical that the TPHC procedures are followed as written. TPHC applies only to the food products and procedures described in the written procedure, and changes from those written procedures basically void the safety measures afforded by using TPHC in the first place. So a recommended TPHC form, procedures form, is included in the Part 5 forms section. So you don't have to use this form, it's voluntary. However, it does include all of the essential information that must be included on any written TPHC procedure used for your SFA. You can also contact your school nutrition consultant for more information about and assistance with TPHC procedures. This log here, the Time as a Public Health Control Delivery Log, is also one of the forms you'll find in the Part 5 forms section. This log template can help you provide documentation to ensure that you are following TPHC procedures and that food is being consumed or discarded within 4 hours of leaving temperature control. Do know there may be some overlap in documentation between this log, the daily transported meals receiving checklist, and the delivery ticket and/or production record. Do know that we are working to streamline all these materials for future use. Make sure you work with your meal vendor and the person delivering the meals to complete the information for this log. Maintain copies in either with your HACCP plan or with the production record or delivery ticket information. Also, you can't see it in the screenshot here, but please note that this is the most current version of the form, even though it still states July 2023. Here is a list of the complete list of the forms located in the Part 5 forms section. We've already reviewed the menu summary. We discussed the Time as a Public Health Control Foods list, or that list is, is for listing the specific foods that will need Time as a Public Health Control procedures, and then the Time as a Public Health Control delivery log, which we just addressed. The menu summary, I will mention again, is optional for listing out each recipe by HACCP process category. It's not commonly used as most SFAs have transitioned to an electronic database for storing and using their recipes.